very awake. I don't know why. Let's see if I can manage to run myself down. What? I never sleep. But Thursday night in particular, usually run down. It's the end of the week.
But you intentionally try to limit your sleep to 2 hours or 3 hours?
No, it's not intentional. It just happens that way. First, it's not only 2 or 3 hours. It's usually 4 hours, 5 hours. But it's not intentional. It just happens. There's not enough time in the day. We are on Daf something or other. With this good case. Okay, we're on Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph towards the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Yochanan should be Shem Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yochanan said name Rabbi Yanai. It should be Lefanei. They're in front of her Shtei Chatichos. Now, then I told you I'm a straight Gilead Ephraim man. I love the Gilead Ephraim. Whatever he says goes by me, and in this case as well. There are 2 pieces of meat in front of her. Okay? There's one piece of good corned beef and another piece of lousy corned beef. Achas yofa v'achas ra. Now, Nosne Rabbi Yofa, she looked at the Yofa hungrily. The Nodja mina ra. And she took a neder from, on the bad one. Harei the Yofa. He can be made for the neder. This is a really cool case. The case is like this. She took a neder that if she eats the good one, again, it's good in the front shot. If she eats the good one, she's forbidden the bad one. If she eats the good one, she can't eat the bad one. But if she eats the bad one, then she can still eat the good one. Okay? The issue is, if she eats the good one, she may not eat the bad piece. If she eats the bad piece, she'll still eat the good piece. Now, she has a husband. That's a critical factor here. So that's being made for. So there are only 2 pieces. Which you're getting there, right? Whichever one she eats, he's going to eat the other one. Okay? So now, if she eats the good one, her husband's going to have to eat the bad one. If she eats the bad one, her husband's going to eat the good one, right? Now, the halacha says she can't eat the bad one. Even though her neder was if she eats the good one, then she may not eat the bad one. That was her neder. But she can't eat the bad one either. Why can't she eat the bad one? Because if the halacha is a person may not eat the conditional piece, because later then he won't be nizar not to eat the because maybe afterwards she's not going to eat she's going to eat the good piece. She can't eat the bad. Her neder was she's not going to eat the good one. If she eats the good one, she's not going to eat the bad one, right? But she can't even eat the bad one because even though now it's not osur, but maybe later on she'll have a tremendous taiva and eat the good one, and then the bad one will become osur retroactively, right? So she can't eat the bad one, lest later on she comes to eat the good one retroactively, the bad one will become osur. So now, no matter what, so it says here the husband can be made for the neder. Why is it? If she doesn't eat it all, she's going to be hungry, right? So that's going to be eater nefesh, right? If she does eat, the only one she can't eat is the good one, right? That's Barim Shebeino Lebeino. Exactly like you said before, right? So no matter what, the husband can be matzah neder. See, because the eater nefesh, because she has to refrain, she's going to have to refrain from eating. Or because because she's going to take the good one and leave the bad one for him. Again, the only one she's allowed to eat is the good one. Because then, okay, she'll leave the bad one. She can't eat the bad one unless afterwards she comes to eat the good one and retroactively make it also upon herself. So no matter what, the husband can be made for because of eater nefesh, because she'll have to refrain from eating altogether. Or as a beinola beinoa, because he wants the good one instead. Okay, that's what Gemara says. The Chebraya say Mibnei Nidra Inu Nefesh Shelo. He can be made for because of the Inu Nefesh of her, right? That she'll have to stay hungry. Because of his Inu Nefesh. Now, of course, there's no such thing as his Inu Nefesh. What it means is it's Barim Ben Holabeinu. Okay, cool case. This is not right. Yeah. Rabbi Zira Vishem Shmuel said, Kol Nedarim Adam Mefer, every neder person can be Mefer. Chutz me'ameres hanoasa, but except for case where a woman says, my benefit should be forbidden on so and so. Right? In that case, it's not Inu Nefesh, should not be Nola Beno, because her benefit is also on the other guy, and it's not on him, and she's not she not the other guy's benefit upon herself. So what heter does she have to be mad? So what heter would he have to be mad to the nether? So it's more, it sounds like, okay, fine, sounds like the flip side of that, or noyas ploini or lie, you're fair. That if she forbids somebody else's hano upon herself, he can be made for the nether. Because that's already Inu Nefesh, right? Says more, because she's preventing herself from deriving benefit from that individual. Says more, wait a minute. But Sinan, didn't we learn, next Mishnah actually, Konan Peres Chedvani Zel lie, if she says, the fruit of such and such store are forbidden upon me, and yochel off here, it can't be made for the nether. Why not? Isn't that Inu Nefesh? She's afflicting herself by not being able to derive benefit from that fellow. So that's what my answer is. Pasalak Rabbi Yossi. So we say that Mishnah, the next Mishnah is going like Rabbi Yossi, who holds that a little bit of Inui is not Inui. And so they'll go to the next store over, they don't go to that store. But Taka like Rabbanan, who holds a little bit of Inui is enough cause to be Mater Neder. There could be Mater Neder in that case. Because there's a little bit of Inui of not being able to go from that store. But Chaluki Malav, and they argue upon him, and they say it can be Mater Neder in that case. The Yitzhak we learned over there, in Loisa Parnasasa Elmi Menu, I raise the offer. Even Rabbi Yossi, if there was no other place for him to go buy stuff except for that store, that was his main makolet, right? So then he can be maker. Rabbi Yossi says, you know why? Because do makiflay, he extends him credits. To Yavle, he gives him stuff. And Ramona, to Yavle, he gives him, should be pointing Mashbiach, Mikelach Tov, he gives him the better flowers. In other words, you develop a relationship with your grocer, so it's good for you. So that's why even Rabbi Yossi agrees if it's his ongoing relationship with the grocer, so then it can be made for neder, because for it's like Vern Shabinol Beno, because it stares him that he won't be able to go and buy that store. Okay? Kodem Sheni Nanes Sabrios. She says she takes those, she's not going to derive any benefit from any living creature. He cannot be made for. Why? Because she doesn't have to go to anybody else. She gets everything from her husband. This is good old days, when everything went through the husband anyway. So she doesn't have to get enough from anybody else. No, it's not considered brios. No, it means other brios. Now, regardless, as the Gemara is going to elucidate, she can derive benefit from leket shechapeh, which are not other people providing, but rather it comes from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, right? Assuming that she's aniyah. Namely, if any person takes a neder that Kohanim Levim may not derive benefit from him, they take Trumas and Meiser from him against his will. Kohanim Levim, Kohanim Elu Nanim, he says, okay, I don't want to give these Kohanim, these Levim, Yidlachem, that other people should take, these Kohanim Levim cannot take. Rabbi Yochanan said, Kenny Masni, so this is the way to read our Mishnah, like I said before, she can derive benefit from Leket Shechol and Peo, right? Tani, and we had a price which says, even Maiserani, she can derive benefit from. It's not true. Leis kan Maiserani. Don't include Maiserani here. You know why? Because Maiserani nitan b'schia. Maiserani, the person who's tithing gives the Maiserani over. He gives it over to somebody. So that's already deriving enough from the person who directed at you. As opposed to Elu, Leket Shechapeh, which are Beziva, Aziva, they're just left there, there's no directed giving. So that's why Maiserani tak would be awesome. Rabbi Yossi Yochanan said, Omar. Yossi Yochanan said, Adam noisei ma'asoisa b'toivas hanoya. A person gives his maasros based on the benefit which he gets from it. It literally means for the favor of pleasure. Rabbi Yochanan enodam noisei ma'asoisa b'toivas hanoya. Rabbi Yochanan says a person does not give ma'aser b'toivas hanoya. My time of the Rabbi Yossi ben Chiyah, what's large Rabbi Yossi?
person gives derives a certain benefit from
Right.
because of direction.
Right.
So that's my focus, whether that he does or does not derive such a benefit.
That's what it seems, right? Just wait a couple minutes. My time is Chanina. What's the logic of this Chanina? Bishas Kadoshot, a person his sacred things, Lo yeh, they're to him, meaning he can give it to whoever he wants. V'yochamar, Lo yeh, name l'chol mishayir said. Lo yeh means he can give it to anybody he wants. Wait a minute. But isn't that what Rabbi Yisrael Chanina said? So there's a very important point here, which the Mashbiach makes. He says, Tovas Hanoah in the Yerushalmi does not mean the same thing as Tovas Hanoah in the Bavli. In the Bavli, Tovas Hanoah means I have discretion to give it to wherever I want. But Rabbi Yochanan here says, you don't have Tovas Hanoah, says you have discretion to give it to wherever you want. So Tovas Hanoah here in Yerushalmi means I can accept payment. I can get somebody to pay me off to give it to somebody. In other words, I can go to the Kohen and say, oh, you want my truma? What's it worth to you? That's Tovas Hanoah according to the Yerushalmi. Not the same Tovas Hanoah in the Bavli. The Bavli has clears all over Tovas Hanoah moment or Tovas Hanoah lav moment. The right to give it to certain individuals, is that money, monetary or not monetary? But that's not what the Mashbiach says, not what Yerushalmi is speaking about. And L'chorah is right. Because Rabbi Yochanan was always to have discretion to give it to whatever you want. But but that's not what's going to Tovas Hanoah. It says there is no Tovas Hanoah. So it means that according to Rabbi Yochanan, you can't accept money to give it to somebody. According to Rabbi Yisrael, you can accept money to give it to somebody. So Tovas Hanoah again means something different in the Bavli and in the Yerushalmi. Right? That's why I said the way to say it. Okay? So, all right. So, Masnisa Pliga, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chino. Our mission seems to argue Rabbi Yosef. It says, Kwanim Levim Nenim Li Lo Karcho. If a person says, I don't want Kwanim Levim to derive any benefit from me, then they take against his will. But if he has the right to be paid off on it, so unless they're going to pay him off, why should they compel him to give it? So Pasalah, Rabbi Yisrael will explain, we're talking about in our Mishnah Rosha. A guy says, I'm not giving the gifts. So there, we compel him to do the mitzvah of giving it. If he wants to hold out for money, Rabbi Yisrael says, he can hold out for money. That's okay. But if he wants to hold out altogether, that we cannot allow him to do. In that case, we go and we compel him to give it. Okay? Oh, sure. That's all mitzvahs say we force people to do. Sure. So here the Kohen Levine compel him to give it up. That's right. About it. Okay? Tater Shuke. You should know this is true. Because it says subsequently in Mishnah, Kohanim Elu Levim Elu Nanimli. It says these Kohanim, these Levim may not derive benefit from me. Yidlachem. Others can take it. So we see that we see that there we don't compel him. The reason must be because there's willing to give it to somebody. Suppose the ratio is not willing to give it to anybody. On the other hand, we seem to have a mission of charges Rabbi Yochanan. I see some plea Rabbi Yochanan. Oimer hu Yisrael. It says a person could say to Yisrael, Heiluchos Selazeh. An individual could say to a regular Jew, here is a coin, here's money, the Tain B'chor Zeh, give the B'chor you have, Lebed Biti coin to my grandson, who's a Kohen. So here we see you can be paid off. Again, you see your Tovas Hanoah in the Yerushalmi means payoff, payola, right? So it's a contradiction to Rabbi Yochanan because you can't take payola. So Rabbi Yochanan explained, interesting answer. The Gleit said, Litno Lishnayim. This guy, the Yisrael, is not sure what he wants to give to. He doesn't want to give it to Reuven or to Shimon. And Uben B'Tolchem, and Shimon is the grandson of this fellow, a co-grandson through his daughter, who's a Kohen. Amar Lo, in that case, the grandfather can say, here's $1, give it to my grandson, the Kohen. And the way the Mashbiach explains that, that's not Tovas Hanoah. Tovas Sana is where I pay you to give to somebody. Here I'm paying you not to give to the other guy. You see that? I can't charge money for giving it to somebody, but I can charge money. How much is it worth to you that I don't give it to the other guy? It's an interesting line. I'm not sure if we understand the distinction, but that's how the Gemara's answer to Rabbi Yochanan. I can't accept money for giving, but I can accept money for not giving. You know what you want to say? They can do that? That's legal? Really? Yeah. Sounds illegal to me. They could pay enough another team not to make a trade?
You offer them a player not to make a trade, but we do that. Especially in hockey, when we do the draft.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sports.
Yeah. Torah and sports. Gavaldik. Okay. Says a lot further. I didn't mean that Gavaldik, by the way. Okay. Says the Gemara. Bon Kumi Rabbi Zira. They asked for Rabbi Zira. There's a lot of gears and changes here. Kohen L'Yisrael, it should be Rabbi Yochanan. His name is missing here. Kohen L'Yisrael, Rabbi Yochanan said the Kohen can't pay the Yisraels given the Trumos. That's Tovas Sana, which is forbidden. Ma Rabbi, it should be Rabbi Yochanan. Oimer. I'm sorry. And there's another two words missing here. Yisrael, ma Rabbi Yochanan Oimer. Okay, the Kohen can't pay the Yisrael to get that the Truma should be directed at him. He can't pay off the guy. But can Yisrael number one pay Yisrael number two to give to a Kohen? Or is that also prohibited? Okay? Is it a payoff by the Kohen himself only is prohibited, or is it any payoff which is prohibited? Right? Lucky food. So Rabbi Zira didn't answer. Rabbi Chizkiah b'shem Rabbi Yaakov said, Omar, no, he did answer. This is the answer. Al daited Rabbi Yosef Chanina, look it. According to Rabbi Yosef Chanina, now the Gemara is not going to like this. But we have to go some motions. Al daited Rabbi Yosef Chanina, according to Rabbi Yosef Chanina, Kohen L'Yisrael Lama, so why may a Kohen may not pay Yisrael? Mimno Mibnei Marasayin? It's only because of Marasayin. The right, so it's mutter. The Rappan of the house because of Marasayin, it doesn't look nice. After Rabbi Yochanan, Yisrael also renamed Marasayin. So Rabbi Yochanan will ask for one Yisrael to pay another Yisrael because of Marasayin. Okay, it looks bad, right? Any payment looks bad. What?
It doesn't look like it's a
No, because Kohen L'Yisrael is also the Raisa. So Yisrael will be Marasayin. Makes sense. Says more, no. Rabbi Yisrael Rabun said, I don't understand how you could say this. Chilu Kochim Yeshkan. According to Rabbi Yochanan, if a Kohen pays the Yisrael to give him truma, it's chilu kochim. The same mipnei marisayin, and you're going to say that it's only marisayin. Maybe it's chilu kochim also by Yisrael to Yisrael. You're assuming that Rabbi Yosef Chanina holds that Kohen Yisrael is marisayin, right? So Rabbi Yochanan holds that Yisrael is marisayin. Maybe not. Maybe according to Rabbi Yochanan, it's even worse. Maybe it's found in chilu kochim. Now we actually have not seen that it's chiluk kochim. We haven't seen the pasuk. That's chiluk kochim. Now we have to see the pasuk. The pasuk tells the following: V'od min adol. Let me show you this concept of chiluk kochim. Hakonim v'avim b'sayim. This is brisa. We don't know. I don't know where this brisa is, but it's a brisa. Hakonim v'avim b'sayim b'gras. If konim v'avim go and work in the silos in order to get trumas and maasros. You can't give them trumas and maasros. You know, son, if you give them chilo, it degrades the kochim. I mean, they're not literally kochim, it's trumas maasros, but the same idea. How do we know that? The pasuk says, Kormei puts in the words here about Lena Kosovoimer, concerning them, please put people says, V'lo yechalulu es shekodshe b'nei Yisrael. Says Kohanim and Levim should not defile the consecrated objects of the Jews. They mechalin, and they by doing work, which is providing tovas hana, they're desecrating kodshe b'nei Yisrael. Mikana Amru, from here they said, Trumas and Eina Truma. If the Kohanim and Levim take Truma under these circumstances, not valid Truma, and I guess Yisrael's Afrosha is not proper, he separate. Of course, it works, but he did so. It's as if the Truma is not Truma. Umasreis and Eina Meiser. The Meiser is not Meiser. The Hekdesh is they made Hekted Kodesh. Eina Hekdesh is not Kodesh. The land Kosovo concerning such individuals, it says, its heads have judged with bribery. And if Kodesh Baruch Hu brings upon the people engaged in this type of activity 3 evils corresponding. They're actually according to Korbanei Moshe, the 3 evils mentioned in that pasuk. Korbanei Moshe brings down the pasuk, so does the Korbanei for that matter. It says Roshem B'Shochad Yishpetu and Kohaneh B'Mchir Yoru Unviyah B'Kesev Yikasmu. The heads judge with bribery, the Kohanim for a price paskin, and the Levim for money do all sorts of magic. Okay? So for these 3 things, 3 bad things occur. Mokum maybe a lamb shlosh parties. Lochem b'dachem therefore you Tzion todet akrash Tzion with the Har Bayis will be plowed under. Yerushalmi Nedarim, Yerushalayim will be desolate. Har Bayis and Har Bayis, I guess Tzion is Azora, but Har Bayis, the Bamasir and Har Bayis will be a forest. Okay, now. That's all argues Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, because that seems to be quite clearly that the Tovas Hanam creates chilul. It's not just another science, it's a chilul issue. The thing is, it's not clear about Yisrael. After all said and done, we never came to a resolution about Yisrael. We don't know. Yisrael might only be Marasayim. Obviously, there's no way to tell. But we don't know. It might be chilul, it might be Marasayim. A Masisa bli Rabbi Yochanan. The Mishnah of the Brisa argues Rabbi Yochanan. What does the Brisa say? The Brisa says, this is another Brisa, Rabbi Yochanan says, HaMakadesh, if I marry a woman, B'Trumus of Maisrus, and I'm Yisrael, I give Trumus of Maisrus to the woman. Umatanas, or the Matnas Kunas, Royal Chaim and Keva from an animal. Umechatas, I give Paraduma waters. Uvefer Chatas, the ash from Paraduma, I raise them Kudeshes. So Val Kiddush not be sure, so even though the groom is Yisrael. How comes the Val Kiddush? It must be that there's Tovas Hana Mamon. Now remember, the way the Bavli learns that, Tovas Hana Mamon means the discretion to give it to whomever I want, I gave over to my fiancée, married her with that, and that is enough for her to be considered married. But the Yerushalmi is not considering that. The Yerushalmi is considering that it's only if there's an actual payoff is that considered to be sufficient to marry a woman. Again, the Yerushalmi by its own standards, which defines Tovas Hanor differently than the Bavli. So how could, in any event, it seems here right against Rabbi Yochanan? Because it must be that payoff is permissible, otherwise can Kedushin be a valid Kedushin. So it says more apostle b'truma shenoflo me'aviyim mokoin. We're not talking about truma which he tithed. We're talking about truma which he actually owns. For example, his grandfather was a Kohen. He's not. And he got his Yerusha. So in that case, actually he owns the truma. It's not truma which he tithed and must give to the Kohen, it's truma which he owns. It's true he can't eat it, but he owns it and it's worth money to him, he could sell it, so therefore he uses being a Kaddish woman as well. Okay? Says Mishnah further. Konam Sheni Oseh Al Pi Abba. His wife took a neder that she's not going to do anything for his father, for her own father, or for the mouth of his father, for the mouth of my brother, says the woman, for the mouth of your brother, and the yochel affair. There's no affair possible. It's not even an effort, not beno, right? Well, how's it going to be made from? Right, Rabbi Akiva Omer Yofer. Rabbi Akiva says, I skip. Sheni Osa Picha, if she says, I'm not going to do anything for your mouth, ain't no Torah for you don't have to be made for. Why don't you have to be made for? Because she's Meshubatim. Her neder cannot undermine her shibut to her husband to do stuff for her. Rabbi Akiva Omer Yofer. Rabbi Akiva says, no, she should be made. He should be made for. Shema Tadipul of Yesem in Aroy, because maybe she will make more than what she's required, and her neder will kick in on that additional amount. So therefore, it should be made for that. That's beino lebeino. Another interpretation, another reason. Yofer should be made for shemi gashena, because maybe she'll be divorced. She'll get divorced, and then if her ma'aseh daim also and her husband, she'll be forbidden to return to him. So therefore, she'll be made for because of that eventuality of the possibility of divorce. Okay, the more is going to discuss that at some length. Talmud we learned over there. Hamakdish ma'aseh de'ishto. What about the other way around? Somebody's makdish his wife's handiwork. Arayz also because she just ignores him, does what she does, and eats. Now this is either because the Kormei brings two possibilities to explain this. Either because since she can opt out of getting fed by him, and then she gets to keep her handiwork, so therefore we say it's as if she opts out, and therefore she just ignores him and continues to work and enjoy her own labor. It's not hektish. Or there's another interpretation here, which is that we're talking about the case where he's not feeding her, and therefore her work is not now underneath her husband, and that's why she can just ignore him and eat the stuff herself. Hamosa, okay, that's fine. That's her ma'aseh yadayim. What about what she makes more than her ma'aseh yadayim? So Me'omer Hektish, on that he has rights, because she can keep back her handiwork and say, I'm keeping it from my food, but not beyond the handiwork. The most or what's additional beyond the set amount, so that goes to husband regardless. So Me'omer it's not Hektish. The Chasana argues and says it's chulin. Okay, now what's the machlokas based on? This is about where she makes what she's supposed to make for him, which is 5 sloim of wool a week, of cloth material a week, the fabric. And that which is beyond that, please machlokas. Do pasla of malam izoinus, and he explains about where he's feeding her. But he doesn't give her an additional allowance of of money for her needs. Which then we learned. He made no notice in law more kesel, he doesn't give her the additional amount of money for her needs. Then their handiwork belongs to her. Okay? So that's Rabbi Yoch, so since her handiwork belongs to her, so therefore Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Yochanan says it's chulin, and she doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have the right to it, and therefore he doesn't. There's no need for him to be made fair. Rabbi Meir says that it's hekdesh. I forget why. Just a second. Yeah, Meir argues. Okay, Meir says that even if you're not giving a more kesel l'tzorochea, you still get the moser ma'aseh yodea. Okay, that's a machlokas. What's the status of the additional handiwork she does beyond her quota? Rabbi Meir says that it's his, and therefore he can be makdish. Rabbi Yochanan says as long as she's not getting the additional allowance of ma kesef, it's hers, and therefore his hekdesh doesn't work. Okay, so it's a technical thing, whether the hekdesh works or not, depending on whether it's considered to be his or hers. That's Rabbi Reish Lakish's shot. Rabbi Elmar, the moitzalach hamisa pleaded. More fascinating explanation seems. After this is after his after her death. Whatever's left over, can he derive benefit from it or not? She dies, and she leaves over stuff. That's the machlokas. So in that case, where Meir says Meir says it's his, so therefore it becomes forbid. It's hers, and therefore the neder applies to it, and that's why it has to be mefer. Rabbi Yochanan Sandler says it's not hers, and therefore.
I'm confused. 1 second. Yeah. Oh, I goofed. You're right. I made a mistake. She didn't take the neder, he took the neder. It's explicit. We'll go back to right after the Mishnah again. No one, I was fumbling it. Tamti, I'm makdish, she's makdish, I'm not talking about Afar anymore. I'm talking about his being makdish. When does he have the right to be makdish his wife's handiwork? Okay? So I might say, I raise a little so because she just ignores him. Because he has no right to be makdish her handiwork. As long as, what about the excess? Is that hektish? So about the additional amount above the quota, and he's feeding her. But he's not giving her additional allowance for her needs. We learned he made her Rabbi Yochanan Sandler said, if you don't get an additional malkesef, it's still hers, and therefore your hektish doesn't work, right? Right. Meir says, as long as you're giving him mizonos, so then the additional amount is yours, even if you're not giving the additional allowance, and therefore your hektish works. Rabbi Yochanan, the child is after she dies, she leaves over stuff. Does the hektish apply to that? And the machlokas is where he wasn't feeding her. So if he wasn't feeding her, the machlokas where the stuff left over afterwards, after her death, he can be makdish or not. However, if he's feeding her, according to Rabbi Yochanan, everybody agrees that it's the hektish he did applies to it, and even during her lifetime. So Rabbi Shlomo said, even if feeding her, as long as you don't give her a moisar, according to Rabbi Yochanan Sandler, it's not hektish. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, once you're feeding her, whatever she makes, you can be makdish. It's only whatever she leaves over after her death that there's a machlokas where the hektish pertains to that or not. Okay? Now, Rabbi Meir Omer, we'll skip the next four words, we'll come back to them later on. Rabbi Meir says, Rabbi Meir says, in the case of, we'll see what the case is. You don't have to do Afara. We're obviously talking about her neder again. Rabbi Yochanan San Lomer Shalah, they're hers. Rabbi Yerushalmi Omer Shalah, they're hers. Rabbi Yochanan Omer Shalah, they're his. Okay? Now, and Rabbi Akiva Omer, now it's Rabbi Akiva Omer Yofer. What? Yeah, let's go back to the Mishnah. What is this line here? What are we saying at the bottom? Well, it's a continuation of Rabbi Yochanan. When he's ma'alam mizonos, if he's paying her, right? And she takes a neder that she wants to be makdish her stuff. Right? Not him. So I'm talking about him being makdish her stuff. Now I'm talking about she being makdish her stuff, right? And he's paying her, right? He's giving her mizonos. So remember, it's so clever, it doesn't have to be made for her. Her neder's not college. He's getting he's getting mazonos, right? She's getting mazonos. So what hafara do you need, right? So it's all his, right? Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar Omer Shalom. Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar says that it's hers.
I'm totally blanking out on this. 1 second. I don't remember how I was looking at it this morning. There.
Okay, a little like carbonator. I remember, I'm blanking out, but a little like carbonator. Remember, if she makes a netter on the additional amount on the Mosar, so then it ought to be made for because it belongs to him. He can be makdish, just like Rameir said. Rameir said, "A makdish." In the second line of Gemara, "A makdish ma'aseh deisha reza oseva chelas hamoiser meir omer hekdesh." The moiser Rameir says he has control over there, for he can make hekdesh. So too, if she made the neder, and it's a cloth, they don't have to be made for it, right? Because it belongs to him; it's under his control, right? Rabbi Yochanan Sandlar, who says that it's chulin, right? If I'm makdish ma'aseh yadayim my wife, or the Mosar, it doesn't work on the Mosar. What does that mean? That means the Mosar belongs to whom? To her. That's what it says here. Rabbi Yochanan Sandlar Mer Shalah. It's hers. So therefore, if she took the neder, the neder takes effect because it's hers. Can he be made for the neder? No, because not for him shebeno lebeno, and it's not the nevish. It's not his, so he has no rights. Rabbi Kiva also Mer Shalah. Rabbi Kiva says it's hers as well. However, there's going to be a catch to that, which is going to be in a base. Rabbi Yochanan Menuri Omer Shalah. Rabbi Yochanan Menuri says it's his. Okay, now that's his because going back like Rabbi Meir, but he says you're going to have to be maker. Okay, now the critical thing is that both Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Yochanan Menuri say Shalah on the one hand, that the Moshe belongs to her. Rabbi Yochanan Menuri says Shalah on the other hand, the Moshe belongs to him. But both of them are going to say he has to be maker on the Moshe. And really it's already in our Mishnah. Rabbi Kiva Omer Yofer. Why? That's what Gemara is going to ask in a moment. Okay, so it says Gemara, Rabbi Kiva Omer Yofer. Rabbi Kiva says Yofer. Why? And here the Gilifine puts in the words from Mamad Alf. The Kohen Yochel Yofer. How can he be maker? It's Rabbi Kiva just said Hadofa is Shalah. The Moisher belongs to her. So how can Rabbi Kiva say Yofer? It's not Beino Beino. It's not in a nefesh. What's his right to be maker? There's what I'll tell you. All right, Bob. Also, Maisi Odea. Say about a case where she asked Maisi Odayim, right? Milasos. Milasos. She forbade her hands to do for him. Ad Chamisha Sloim. Up to the right of 5 Sloim, he compels her. Her Maisi Yadayim are Meshuba to him, because he's feeding her. Mikan ve'elchayanin ain't a koife. He can't compel her to work. Shemisyore, Shematase, he's afraid maybe she'll do yeser, more. V'nimsa nana min isser, and he's going to come out being nana from an isser. So he's afraid even to compel her on the base amount, because he doesn't know when to stop. If he beats her until she does work, right, then she might do more than she's supposed to. And the additional amount is also, right? And he's not to beat her for that additional amount. So therefore it's really Dvarim Shebeino Lebeino. Because he wants to compel her to work. She's a deadbeat, she doesn't want to work. So he wants to compel her to work, but he's afraid to compel her, because if he compels her to make too much, that amount too much is going to be also on him. So therefore, he's allowed to be made, because if Fum came Rabbi Kiva Mer Yofer, Rabbi Kiva says Yofer Shalo, precisely because it is Rabbi Kiva says, I'm sorry, Rabbi Kiva Omer Yofer. Rabbi Kiva says Yofer. And Shalo doesn't belong here. It should be Shalo, right? Did somebody actually change it? Let's just take it out. Let's assume it shouldn't be there. The Kiva says, therefore, Yofer, because, again, she's afraid to go over, right? Afraid to go over, and therefore, in order that the fear should be dissipated, he just should be made for the nether for her. Okay, now, Rabbi Hila said a different shot. Rabbi Hila said, now, according to Gilin Ephraim, he's going to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. I guess, according to Gilin Ephraim, you don't take out this line, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Omer Yofer. Then Gilin Ephraim really should leave that in. We'll read it like this. Now, the question is, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri said Yofer, but why? If it's his, he can compel her to work anyway. And he's not afraid that she's going to make too much, because he can compel her both on the base amount and the adof. It belongs to him anyway. It's his. So why can't he be koifer, right? Amar Hillel said, after lo lasos chamesh loim mitzvos. Rabbi Yochanan said she can make precisely 5 sloim, and archa chamesh loim koifer. Up to 5 sloim he can be koifer. Mikavel eno koifer. From there on in, he doesn't. He's not koifer. And according to the Ephraim, change the next word from Shemisyore to She'en Misyore Shematati. You know, it should be probably Mikam Ve'el Koifa. He could also be Koifa beyond that. I don't know, maybe I just skipped those words when I was preparing this morning. She made precisely 5 sloim. No, I see. I see what's bothering him. It's choppy. Rabbi Boss said it's hard to draw the line between precisely 5 and more than 5, and that's Rabbi Akiva said it can be made because the volume should be no lebeino. Rabbi Hillel says you can draw the line between 5 and more than 5 precisely, right? And therefore, mikam ve'elch eno koifer, he doesn't be koifer her. Now, according to the way the Gilin Ephraim words, it's very choppy, because he can be koifer even above 5 sloim, because it belongs to him, right? So really should be mikam koifer she'enu misyore shematati koshu, right? V'nimsa nana minister. So therefore, l'funke Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri Omer Yofer, it's all part of the question. It's all part of a question. I'm not sure exactly how to read the question. I can only say it outside. I don't know how to read it precisely inside. The question is, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, it all belongs to him, right? So why should he have to be made for? There's no need for him to be made for. On the base amount, he doesn't have to be made for, because that belongs to him. And not Dofi doesn't have to be made for, because that belongs to him as well. So he can just compel her to do it. Problem is, it's not exactly what Rabbi Hillel says in the Gemara, right? It says, already, Efshel is those Chamesh Shloim, so she could do precisely 5. Ad Chamesh Shloim Koifer, the Kavach Eno Koifer, from there on, he doesn't have to be Koifer, right? It should be really, he can be Koifer as well, that's what's bothering me. And the way it's going to find change, it says, She'ena Misari Shematali, if he doesn't be concerned that she'll make too much, because she's allowed to make much, it still belongs to him. Shematali Koshu. And there's no problem being Nana Minisa. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, so even here's the other question: why does Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri say it can be made? Say you have to be mefer? All right, it's choppy. I don't know exactly how to read it.
Give me an initial answer because.
That's more is about to expand on that. And then it says Rabbi Yochanan. That's why our Mishnah says on Rabbi time Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri shemitoch shiur das shemegarsha yasur lachsor lo. But it's like this. It says. The Rabbi Mishnah explains. Mishnah said, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, he has to be made for her because maybe he'll divorce her and then he won't be able to take her back because then the neder will take effect. Because once she's divorced, she's not Meshubat him anymore. And then the neder takes effect. Yeah, but it's bothering Rabbi Hillel said, but so what? It's still not for him Shebeino Lebeino. Because when is neder going to take effect? When they're divorced, it's not Beino Lebeino. Beino Lebeino is only when they're married, right? So that's Rabbi Hillel comes to explain here. I mean, the time Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Shemitov She'adashi Megashi Asur Lachso, she hates his guts, so she's taking the dorm against him. So therefore, since she knows if he divorces her, she'll be also to him. Va'af Maknitaso, now she's going to nudge him and henpeck him Megashi until he divorces her. So it is Beino Lebeino because she's going to nudge him. Because she knows she can get her, once she gets divorced, the net is going to take effect and she'll be asked to come back to him. So therefore, it's Beino Lebeino because of the nudging now, not because of the neder now. And that's why he can be made for the neder. He can be made for the neder, so she shouldn't nudge for the so to get divorced for the neder to be chal. So it's like Beino Lebeino like this, not directly. So again, I don't know exactly. I'm not pleased. You didn't down Marville, did you? I did it right. I down Mar, but I'm staying anyway. So, okay, so you didn't down Mar. Okay, so we'll see now. And it's once they turn the air condition for the season, that's it. So anyway, so that's what it means. That's where the question was, why could Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri have to be made for? And how can he be made for? So the answer is, he has to be made because of after Gerushin. How can he made for her to stop Beino Lebeino? No, she's going to needle him until he agrees to divorce her, and for the needling, it's going to be Beino Lebeino. Okay, Nada Ishto. If his wife took a neder, if his Sovish Najabito and she thought his daughter took a neder, or Najabito's daughter took a neder, if his Sovish Najishto, he thought his wife took a neder. Nazir of a Nazir, she took a neder to be a Nazir, the Sovish Nazir B'Korban, he thought she took a neder to make a korban. B'Korban, Sovish Nazir, vice versa. And again, these are all types of issues of mistakes. So, Nazir Minatim, she took a neder from figs, the Sovish Nazir Minatim, she told us from grapes. Minanavim from grapes, the Sovish Nazir Minatim, she told us from figs. Raise the house of the offer. When you find out what the neder really was, it can be made for them. Afilu Shama V'Shasan, that's true, even if it was silent, and so heard him was silent for 24 hours. Afilu Shama came, and even if he heard and sustained the neder, so it's all based on toast, when he hears later on what it is, he can go back later on and be made for it. That's simple enough. Amr Konim Te'enim V'Anovin Edu, She'eni Toemis. She said, I'm not going to taste these figs and dates. She'etchim Al Te'enim, if he sustains the figs, Kula Kaim, then the entire name is Kaim. If he sustains the fig, if he's made for the figs, ain't mufar. It's not mufar. He has to be made for the whole thing. Made for part of it is not enough. If she made it 2 separate nedarim, however, two separate nedarim, making that matter each part. Now it's interesting because Moshe points out, even though by HaTorah we say neder shuter mitzosel neder kulo, huter kulo, that's by HaTorah's chacham, because the chacham undermines the neder retroactively. A Baal cancels the neder, so then it's a different thing. So therefore, not only can he cancel partially, but even worse, if he cancels partial, it's not canceled at all. He's got to cancel the entire thing. So don't say neder shehu for mitzvah utar kulo. On the contrary, you have to cancel the entire thing in order for it to work. The exact opposite. Right, it's like a line, but it's not even that. No, he doesn't get a line of it. He's got to veto the entire thing. Right. A chacham undermines. Once you partially undermine, the entire thing is undermined. Not the same thing by the end. Okay. Istani tani. So to those who learned yikimenu mimenu, you can do partial sustaining. Yikimenu mimenu, you can do partial hafara. Istani tani yikimenu, not mimenu, but kulo. You have to do the entire thing. Yifrenu kulo is the entire thing. So it's just a question of how do we learn the word. Istani tani yikimenu. There's a mem there. Mimenu partially. If you renu is kulo, it's got to be the entire thing. These tiny those learn Yikimenu is close the entire thing, right? If you read Mimenu, I don't even know how you learned that, but there's some who learned that way. Mastichin, anyway, our Mishnah is commanded by Yikimenu that even if you sustain part of it, sustain. If you renu, but if you want to under the cancel it, it's got to be the entire thing. The tiny we learned Kiyam with and Kiyam with Kul. If you take pigs, sustain part of it. The figs, out of the figs and the grapes, it's all sustained. Everything, if you nullify it only for the figs, and a move for it's not canceled until you cancel also the grapes. Now, the next case is a fascinating one. It comes back to, we'll have to come back to it again on Monday in a different mode. Arma kind of ta'ena sheni toemes mode on those. Said, I don't want to taste I take a neta from a fig. That if I eat the fig, the grapes become usher on my It says, I take a neta that if I eat a fig, the grape is usher. See that? The fig itself is not usher, but if she eats the fig, the grape is usher. So tiflu to Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, to Mavot Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Akiva, which we'll come back to, we'll see again in great detail next week. Rabbi Shmuel mer achar neder. Rabbi Shmuel goes after when the neder takes effect. So that's the case. It's two separate nedarim. There's a neder on the fig and neder on the grape. Rabbi Akiva mer achar, he go after the statement. So it's one neder. So the nafkamina is, can you be matir one neder without the other? I'm sorry. Her neder, she took it both in time. She said, I'm taking neder, I made a mistake. She's taking neder not to eat a fig. And if she eats the fig, then the grape is also. So the shaila is, are they two separate nedarim vis-a-vis hafara, or one neder vis-a-vis hafara? Right? Because you can't, if you take two separate nedarim, so you're made for one without the other. If it's one neder, you have to be made for all parts. Otherwise it doesn't work. So Rabbi Shmuel goes after when the neder takes effect. They take effect separately. First the fig takes effect, and only afterwards does the grape take effect. And therefore it can be made for each one independently. According to Rabbi Akiva, we go to the statement, and they're all made in the same statement. So therefore you have to be made for both of them in order for that for it to work. Okay? So this machlokes is going to be a major machlokes later on. But whether we go after the statement or after when it takes effect. Let's just do one more halacha. Yodei initiation nedarim. Let's say the guy says, I know they're nedarim. I knew they were nedarim. But I didn't know I had the right to cancel nedarim. Yafter, we let him cancel later on when he finds out. Yodei initiation, I knew you could cancel nedarim. She said neder, but I didn't know that this is what my wife says the neder. But Meir says doesn't work. He can't be maker. Chachamim say he can't be maker. He can't be maker. What's the machlokes? I'm Rabbi Zera. Time that I mayor. The reason I mayor is Elah he wrote so. He's looking for an excuse, and should be instead of Shetadavi Gashen and Shaitar, so change it to Shiyofer Nitra. He's lying. There's nobody who knows that there's a concept for his neder and doesn't know whether his wife said it's a neder or not. He's just lying. So lo kain. If not, because otherwise, he should have just said, if it was a mesupik law with the neder, it should have, I know it says Garsha, but it should have said he should have been made for, according to Shaitar, he shouldn't have been made for to begin with. Obviously he's lying. So therefore, we don't trust them later on to come and say, oh, I didn't know it was a neder. Rabbanan, no, there are such people are naive, and we do let them get away with that with being made for later on.